everybody. Welcome back to week 14 of the 2025 Street Parking Vault. This week we are taking on Azure Dragon. Your Program A version of the workout is 1 dumbbell squat clean, 1 dumbbell shoulder to overhead, and 1 lateral burpee over the dumbbells. Then you're gonna do 2 dumbbell squat cleans, 2 dumbbell shoulder to overheads, and 2 lateral burpees over the dumbbells. 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, all the way until you get to 10 dumbbell squat cleans, 10 dumbbell shoulder to overhead, and 10 lateral burpees over the dumbbells. Your score for this workout is your total time with a goal of 10 to 15 minutes. All right, it is week 14 of the 2025 Street Parking Vault, and this week we are doing Azure Dragon. Your shift version of this workout is 10 rounds of 5 dumbbell hang power clean and squat, 5 dumbbell push press, and 5 burpee. Your score for this version of the workout is your total time with a goal of 8 to 13 minutes.
What's up, guys? Welcome to week 14 of the Vault. This week, DH and I are taking on Azure Dragon. It's Project April, so I'll be doing Program A with the 35-pound dumbbells, and DH will be doing Program B with 95 pounds.
Happy Monday, everybody. What's up?
Happy Monday, guys. All right, here we go.
I like how you said Azure. That was very like...
You know, it's very, sometimes I struggle a little bit, but I drew it out there. Azure.
Azure.
All right, guys. Azure. Never, not the best at pronouncing it. All right, guys. So we have a fun one today. Just a casual little ladder, DH. Super simple.
Ain't no thing.
All right, guys, so for this one, we've got a ladder where we're going 1 up to 10 we have squat cleans, shoulder to overhead, and lateral burpees. Oof. So the fun thing about this workout is reps, when you're working your way 1 through 5, you're like, I'm going to finish this in 6 minutes.
It's a trap.
This is a trap. It's a trap. You feel like you're going to finish it super quickly, but then it all catches up with you in round 7.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So bad.
I am currently in a cabin in Tahoe. DH, can you still hear me okay?
You're coming in loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this workout. So as I mentioned, when you're working your way through the 1 through 5, it feels really manageable. And it, like DH is saying, it could be a bit of a trap to where you're going to want to move a little faster than you should. If it puts it into perspective, there's 55 reps in this ladder total. So you're doing 55 squat cleans, shoulder to overhead, and burpees. And you're not halfway through the workout until you finish the round of 7. So if you kind of just keep that in mind that you're at halfway when you hit that number. And I really feel like for myself, I don't know about you, DH, that's kind of where the workout began, was in the round of 7. Is that how you felt?
Absolutely, yeah. I think even for myself mentally, that's where you really have to like focus. Every squat clean, every push jerk. For me, I was doing push jerks, and then every burpee, just staying efficient. Like you really have to focus because those larger sets, the compounding reps, like back to back to back, it gets taxing real quick.
Yeah, so I'll give kind of a little bit of how I approach this workout. So I use the 35-pound dumbbells. And what I tried to do was try to get through the round of 6s where I went directly from the squat cleans into the shoulder to overhead. I felt comfortable. I kind of had a back pocket plan if maybe in the round of 5 I needed a break for those 6s, but I felt comfortable in the 6s. So I didn't actually take a break in the squat cleans till I got through that round of 6. And in fact, the coach's notes even speak to the weight that you select for this should be something that you're confident you could get through the 5s. So you're working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where you're going unbroken from those on those squat cleans and then those shoulder to overhead.
Yeah, I would say that's a really good approach. And that's what I was keeping in my mind from the coach's notes. It's like, all right, through the 5s, let's just hang on and just get through it quickly. And then into the 6s, the 7s, like let's pay attention. Let's start moving with some intention and purpose here.
Yeah, and I think for me, when I take a break, like if it's a number, like let's say we're on the round of 7, for me personally, I like to get a bigger chunk done. So maybe I'm working 4 squat cleans, taking a break, and then I would do 3 squat cleans right into the shoulder to overhead. How did you break it up, DH?
Yeah, that was my plan as well. Like I ended up actually breaking after my squat clean just to get a little pause,
Mm-hmm.
a little break before I go into the shoulder to overhead. But now that I think about it, I probably should have taken the approach where, if I was doing 6, hang on for 5 squat cleans, drop it,
Mm-hmm.
and then that 6th squat clean, take it right into the or the shoulder overhead. Yeah.
Yeah, because you do have to do that clean to get it to your shoulders. So being efficient
Sure.
with that, where you're not doing an extra one, but sometimes, you're
Right.
just feeling the fatigue and you got to put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can talk a little bit about these lateral burpees since I'm moving on those right now. For me personally, what I feel comfortable with is kind of a cue that I tell myself is I think, lay down, step, step, jump. So I
Mhm.
like to step up and then jump over the object. DH, how do you like to do lateral burpees?
Same. I like to step up with my outside foot, and then that kind of cues me up to go right into the jump. So I try to like
Oh,
shuffle my feet. So I'll step up with the outside foot and then jump over and then kick down or step down and then come up on the other side foot or that other outside foot and then just go back and forth.
got it. Yeah, I think the burpees too are one to kind of just find a steady pace and continuously move. Try
Hmm.
to not,
Hmm.
again, that's where that trap of the 1 through 5, where you're going to probably move really quick, stay pretty hunched over as you jump over the
Yeah.
object, where you're not getting a
Right.
lot of air. So really be mindful as you're doing those dumbbells, to make sure that you're getting some a good pace, but you're also breathing throughout it. Oh, look at your little kick
Yeah.
over there, DH.
I,
Look
I
at
I'm
that.
doing like a little do-si-do.
I
I think
like
that's just
it.
from I'm doing it. That's like muscle memory.
I love
That's
it.
muscle. That's funny because on when I'm jumping to my left, I actually lead with my left foot. Anyways, that's
I
that's
love
all
it.
kinds of messed up stuff going on there.
I love it. Yeah. the
Yeah,
the
jumping over dumbbells is an extra challenge for sure. Yeah, Molly's got the two back like side
I
by
always have to
side.
go left foot up. So I go left foot, right foot, jump. It always stays the
Yep,
same.
yep.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the squat clean, kind of a longer movement, right? Where we're pulling from the
Hmm.
floor all the way into a full squat. So it's definitely one that you can maybe try to hold your breath through. So making sure that you're being mindful and breathing throughout that movement. I know my legs definitely started to get tired. So one cue that kind of helped me on the squat cleans was really focusing on kind of jumping once I passed the knees,
Yeah.
just to try to make that clean feel a little bit lighter.
Hmm. Yeah. Getting
And you'll
under the
notice,
weight quickly is gonna help.
yeah, definitely. And you'll notice, I'll speak to my cleans and then DH, you can talk about the barbell version. But for me, you'll notice I went between my feet. You can either go on the inside of your feet or outside of your feet with the dumbbells, whatever you're comfortable with. One thing I notice in myself right here that I'd like to see actually a little bit better is getting my butt down and my chest up. Kind of one of my I don't know if you have flaws, whatever you want to call it, is I know as I get tired, I tend to lift a lot more with my back and keep my hips up. So that's something to be
Hmm.
mindful with this version. If you are doing the dumbbells, is to really focus on keeping your chest up and bending those knees a little more at the bottom.
Yep.
But inside of the feet, outside of the feet, whatever you're comfortable with. If you are doing kettlebells for Project April, these would be hang squat clean. So you're going to kind of
Hmm.
swing the bells between your legs, and then go into that full squat. Those rings, I kept hitting those rings above my head. Deej, you want to talk a little bit about the barbell, how that felt with the
Yeah.
cleans?
The barbell squat clean, I went with 95 pounds. So I knew this weight was something I could just grab and go. I wasn't like super like paying attention to if I got the exact grip and the width and the hook grip. I was just like, just grab the bar and go. If I can
Mm-hmm.
grab it, I know I can jump with the barbell. Like I was saying, like pulling myself underneath, making sure that I caught it in like an upright front rack position, just so that I can save my back. Because at this point, my back was getting kind of fatigued. There's a lot of hinging in this workout, especially with the burpees and the squat cleans, obviously, and loading of the core in general. So keep staying as upright as possible, kind of gave me some rest in the sense of like not overly using my back. So
yeah,
just
that's
trying
great.
to dial in that front rack position. Yep.
Well, and it's great too with the barbell because you can drop it, right? With the dumbbells, you have to set them
Yes.
down. So that's kind of nice with
That's
the
right.
barbell. Obviously, we're in Project April, but you're free to do whatever you want. But the barbell is a nice option because you can drop it.
That's right.
So then we can talk a little bit about, so we have our shoulder to overhead, which we have a few options that you can do for this, right? You have a press, which we don't recommend, which is just where you're using strictly upper body. And then we have our push press, which is actually what you guys are going to see me do, which is just a slight dip and punching the dumbbells overhead. And then you'll notice that DH does a little bit of a push jerk where he's rebending underneath the barbell, which can be a little more efficient with saving the shoulders. For me personally, I don't love doing push jerks with dumbbells. I have a strong shoulder to overhead, so I like repping them out as a push press. Oh, you're doing more push press, DH. Sorry.
Like in the middle rounds, like I started doing push press because I was like, I want to just get these over with. But then it was getting my heart rate jacked up, so I was like, oh no, I think I'm gonna go back to push jerks.
I'm on my last set of 10 here. So I'm finishing out my 10 shoulder to overhead, and then I'll go right into the burpees. You'll notice I felt like at least I was moving a little faster on this last set. So that's kind of where I really pushed the gas, was in that last set of 10. Really went for it.
Totally.
DH, I love your little skip over.
My little do-si-do.
This is where my feet were on fire. You too, DH?
Oh, man, my feet. I don't know if it's the shoes or what. It's just a lot of like ankle flexion going on in this workout. So the bottom of my feet were just rampant.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of jumping on the clean, the shoulder to overhead, and then the dump. You're obviously jumping with the burpees. So I think it's just a lot on your arches. Yeah, so yeah, I just finished in 10:19, and then DH, I think you're on your set of 10 right here. So we were pretty close throughout this whole workout.
Man, once I saw you pull away on the 7s, I was like, there she goes.
Well, the barbell too, I mean, that's a long movement, right? You can, like, for me, I feel like you can shorten it when you go between the legs with the dumbbells.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's kind of the beauty of being able to choose your equipment that you want to use. You know, if you're doing Project April and you're trying to ramp up that intensity, do it. Like, go for it. You know that you have maybe like a technique advantage when using dumbbells, or maybe you're going slightly lighter with dumbbells, knowing that, you know, each side is moving independently or whatever. But if that's you, if you're doing Project April and you're really going for it, like, just see what happens. Like, hang on and go for those unbroken sets. Go right into the shoulder to overhead. Just try it. Just see.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like the shift version of this workout. We have the 10 rounds of it's 5 dumbbell hang power cleans into squats, and then 5 push press and 5 burpees. So I really like that it's, you know, the breakdown of the power clean into the squat, I think is awesome. Get a little burpee action there, manageable number with 5 reps.
Totally.
DH is in the pain cave here, finishing out his last 10.
I'm just like, go fast for Molly so she doesn't have to sit in awkward silence. Well, not silence, but just watching me work out.
I love cheering you on. Yeah, so really, guys, as uncomfortable it is, try to find that really gnarly pace on those burpees, those last 10, and just go for it.
Woo. 12:30. Ouch.
Ouch.
Are you rolling? What? Week 15 of the Street Parking Vault.
Oh, man.
You have that to look forward to next week.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. All right, guys. So we're going to kind of jump into this week's programming. We're super excited. So we already obviously touched on the vault, some tips there. So we're going to kind of dive into Tuesday's workout, which is April 8th. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this, because this day is sandwiched between, we have the vault Monday, which we throw the intensity out, and we have a little bit of like what I like to call like a wreck yourself Wednesday workout we got going on. So we have an intentional, slower paced Tuesday workout. So we really encourage you guys to lean into the stimulus of this workout. Give your body a little bit of a break as far as like moving really fast, pushing the intensity, because again, we have the vault Monday and this kind of rougher one that we'll touch on Wednesday. So we've got 7 rounds for quality, right? With some wall walks and some type of pulling variation. And so I love this one because there's so many different options of what you could do for your pull-up, right? We have the kipping pull-ups, we have strict pull-ups, you can do bent over rows, or you could do a kettlebell gorilla row, which I really love. And is an awesome variation. So this one is a good one to just kind of, again, not worrying about the clock. We're going for quality. So what I think would be good, or we think would be good, is try to challenge yourself on the wall walks in a variation that maybe you don't typically do when you're in a workout under some heavy breathing. So maybe you typically walk halfway up towards the wall. So maybe in this workout, you're working 3/4 up the wall or something like that. Or maybe instead of doing the, where we're doing inchworms, maybe you try the pike position on a box where your feet are up on a box and you walk your feet in. So try to challenge yourself with that movement, but where we're not, again, stressing on being fatigued with breathing, moving quickly or breathing heavy. Even same thing on the pull-ups. We have all these pull-up variations, but then under program C, we've got a glory day option. So if you're doing program C, we have muscle ups. If you guys are into that sort of thing, we have bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups. So depending on where you're at with your volume and being comfortable with this movement, you can totally customize it. Like for me personally, if I was doing this one, I'd probably keep the wall walks on the lower end, just because muscle ups aren't something I do regularly. I can still do them, but I don't have a ton of capacity in them. So what I might do is stick with 2 wall walks, 2 or 3, and then I'd probably go on the lower end of the ring muscle ups. I'd probably go for 2 to maybe 3. I think 3 would be pushing it. So that's kind of how I would approach this one if I was throwing in the muscle ups, just because I don't have that volume there. But that's a great option for those of you guys that do have that skill. Anything you want to throw in there, DH?
No, I love it. Just the quality emphasis. Like you have 2 approaches to quality. Quality could be your intention with maybe going quickly and challenging yourself, or like you said, like maybe you adjust reps or stay on the lower side so that you can really focus on the pulling aspect of this workout, or the other way around. If you're just like a pull-up master and you want to use this time to really hone in on your technique and just the thoughtfulness with how you move with wall walks, do that. This is the space to do that in.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I love that it's a Tuesday, because normally Tuesdays are pretty terrible, but we're gonna break it up a little bit this week.
Yeah, definitely. And you play around with the pull-ups too. Maybe you're working on your kipping pull-ups and you want to try that. So maybe instead of doing the 10 kipping pull-ups, maybe you're aiming for like a set of 5 in this thing. And then maybe you're wrapping up with maybe some like bent over rows. So maybe you're doing 5 kipping pull-ups, and then maybe after the workout's over, or maybe after those kipping pull-ups, you're throwing in 5 bent over rows to kind of get that volume up, but still working maybe your capacity in the kipping or something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Should we move to Wreck Yourself Wednesday?
Oh man, Wednesday, 5 rounds. Okay, brace yourselves here. 400-meter run, 30 box jumps, 15 dumbbell thrusters, and you're gonna rest 2 minutes between rounds. You have the option of doing
rest. How bad could it be?
Oh man. Thank goodness for that 2-minute rest. Man. This one, it on paper, it looks like it's gonna go by quick. But I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
So pace yourself here. Don't start super hot. The 400-meter run, yes, like move with a sense of urgency, right? You don't want to treat it like a light jog, but you want to save enough gas, because once you get back from the run, that's when everything kind of starts. Your box jumps, smooth and steady. These don't have to be crazy fast. You know how box jumps can, or any kind of jumping and bounding, can really spike your heart rate. So move at a pace that allows you to just kind of still keep your heart rate at a spot that, feels relatively comfortable. And then on the thrusters, pay attention to how you're moving. Be efficient. Power out of the bottom of the squat. As soon as your hips get above parallel to your knees, you really want to be driving the barbell overhead. Use your legs, save your shoulders, and break those up, even if you have to, right? 10 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. This workout actually, oh, Julie says Wednesdays looks terrible on paper.
That too. Yeah.
This workout
Anyway,
actually,
you slice it.
This workout actually reminds me of if any of you guys have been in the CrossFit community, one of the benchmark workouts, the girls called Kelly, which is a 5 rounds, 400-meter run, 30 box jumps, 30 wall balls, but without a rest. So yeah, I think this is a one where if it's there, the full send is definitely one to push the pace, but keep in mind you have 5 rounds to do. So I think on the one note I'll add to what you said, DH, is, for your 400-meter runs, I think the coaches notes say around 2.5 minutes for finishing those. So I think because we have a longer workout, really being mindful of your 400-meter run time and trying to stay under that 2.5 minutes. And if you find you're like, you know what, I'm closer to 3 minutes typically on a 400-meter run, run out, like maybe you have a watch on or you grab your phone, run out a minute 15 and then back a minute 15. If you need to, or customize the distance to 300 meters. Just so then that way you can stay within that window of the goal range that we're looking for. Like DH is saying, it's 30 box jumps, which is just a lot of volume. So if you need to go for like a lower box, or maybe you're customizing and dropping the reps down to maybe 25 or 20, you can use that first round when you finish your first round and you get into that 2-minute rest. We encourage you guys to evaluate how that round went, right? So we're looking for the goal range on this one, I believe, is 4 to 6 minutes. Do I have that correct? Double check my work. Yeah. So it's 4 to 6 minutes without the rest. So think about that. We got a long road ahead of us, but I would say use that first round to evaluate how that rest to evaluate how the round went. And maybe you're like, okay, I need to customize the run, or maybe I need to take a quick break on the thrusters, whatever it is. Don't waste the rest thinking about how terrible you feel. Evaluate, make any changes, get your heart rate down, and then kind of get into the next one. Expect your legs to feel really heavy on the box jumps. It's going to kind of catch up with you. So yeah, it's a bit of a fun one.
Oh man. Yeah. It's going to be longer. So like Wally's saying too, if you're on the longer end of the goal time, like, don't beat yourself up. Don't discredit that. This workout is going to be long. It's going to be challenging. So that's totally fine.
Yeah. And I'd say that thruster weight, just be confident. You could do it with 2 kettlebells, dumbbells. There's the barbell option, obviously, for program B, or sandbag for C. But it should be something when you're like fresh, you're like, I could get right off of those box jumps and pick it right up. It shouldn't be a weight where you're having to hesitate. Again, as you get into the later rounds, maybe we're taking that short break. Like DH said, 10 and 5, but it shouldn't be something where you're waiting around to pick it up because it's so heavy.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm very new to training with kettlebells. I haven't done a lot of it. And I think that I'm going to try to go kettlebells for this one. And I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge because of that front rack position is just a little different with kettlebells. So I think if you're doing that, expect to be like, I'll probably go, I typically do this workout with dumbbells with 35s, but I'll go probably 26-pound kettlebells for this one.
Nice.
What about you, DH?
That's solid. Yeah, I think I'm going to try it with the dumbbells.
Nice.
I think this one is something, if 50-pound dumbbells will be tough. Even, it's funny, right? Because you're like, oh, that's 100 pounds. And if I was doing a 100-pound back squat, I'd be doing that for like, no problem, 20, 30 reps. But just the thruster and the way that you have to actively engage the upper body in that rack position with the dumbbells, it's challenging. So I'm going to try those 50s.
I like it, DH. You got to let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. And we're going to move on to Thursday. So Thursday, we have a fun one. This is actually, it's from our strength test collection. This is number 8 in that collection. And it's actually a workout that we tested on the first of the year. So if you go back to January 1, you can see your score for this one. If you want to kind of see how you did it, if you recorded it. Sometimes I forget to log workouts if I'm being brutally honest, but hopefully you guys did enter your score in there. So this one's a fun one. It's 50 reps of the complex for time. You're going to do 2 deadlifts, 2 alternating dumbbell front rack lunges. So the way this one works is you have to do the 2 deadlifts into the 2 farmers alternating lunges. That counts as 1, and you have to do those unbroken before you can take a break. So this one obviously is very leg heavy. So one thing to keep in mind when we are repeating or testing a workout that we've previously done, I think sometimes we can put like a lot of emphasis on we have to get better. And that is what we're striving for. But keep in mind the amount of legs that you did, the day before on Wednesday's workout, that is going to probably impact you on Thursday. So if you're feeling like, whoa, my legs feel really heavy, they feel really tired. You did do it, Wednesday's workout is going to impact how Thursdays went.
Yeah.
But I would treat this like a strength day. Maybe if you did this last time, maybe with the 25-pound dumbbells and you have the option of doing it with a heavier weight, maybe you go a little bit heavier. Maybe it's going to take you longer than you did last time. But maybe you treat it more as a strength session than trying to do it to beat your time that you did last time if you're feeling a little bit wrecked from the week.
Yeah.
The barbell.
And this is the one I saw. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say not barbell. Sorry. And this is one that you could, if you're doing Project April with the kettlebells, that would be a good challenge to throw in. Doing 2 kettlebell deadlifts into 2 alternating kettlebell front rack lunges, which would be spicy.
Oof. That's gnarly.
Yes. Yeah.
This was the one I saw, Molly, the suggested strength test for the deadlift. So
there we go.
If you are if you're retesting your barbell stuff, like your bench, deadlift, overhead press, back squat, this would be the day you could combo it up. So it's at the bottom there. Suggested strength test number 3 for the 3-rep deadlift. So
I love that.
Something you could do if you want.
And one thing I don't know if you guys noticed, but we do have under accessories now, we have 3 new cash out programs. So we have a lower body cash out, upper body cash out, and full body cash out. So today, since we are kind of treating it like a more of a strength day, you could also throw in a cash out if you want. Depending on how the lower body feels, you could throw in an upper body cash out, or you could do a full body. Or if you're like, I feel great, I want to hammer the lower body more, you could throw in one of those. But you can check those out under the accessories in the app, in the extra programs. And I think that would be a great day to throw one of those in.
Totally.
Awesome. Anything else, DH?
Sweet. I think that's it.
Sweet. Let's move to Friday.
All right. 8 rounds. 200 meter run, 30 dumbbell hopovers, 12 alternating dumbbell hang power snatch. So kind of a similar format to Wednesday, but we have a shorter run and some quick hopping. Okay. So for me, when I'm doing hopovers, I'm not trying to spend a lot of time with my feet on the floor. I'm moving as quickly as possible. So the point is to get my heart rate very, very high, very quickly. So I'm trying to just power through those 30. And then for the 12 alternating hang power snatches, a lot of power from the hips. Keep your chest upright as the dumbbell comes down and use a lot of pop from the hips.
Yeah. And I think this is one to evaluate how you're feeling in the week. If you're feeling a little bit tired, a great way that you could customize this one, right? We're looking at a goal range of 15 to 20 minutes. So sometimes what I like to do if I'm feeling maybe a little bit tired, I'll set the clock maybe for that between that middle mark. So the goal is 15 to 20. Maybe I'll set it for like 17 or 18 minutes, somewhere in there. And I'll kind of work my way through the 8 rounds. So I'll go 8 rounds, or I'll stop myself at that 17-minute mark. That's another way to kind of approach it. If you're feeling like the 8 rounds maybe might feel like a lot, or you just want to kind of slow things down, that's another way that you could approach this one. You could also throw in some double unders, right? Maybe you're looking at the hopovers, and it's not that hopovers are by any means easier. They definitely, like DH is saying, they spike the heart rate. They're an awesome movement. But if you're somebody that enjoys double unders, you could just swap in 30 double unders. That's like, I know I can do 30 unbroken, no problem. Somewhere between 20 to 30, depending on where you're at. You could also throw those in place of the hopovers if you want. And then obviously we've got the kettlebell option. Those are going to be 6 per side, which you would go all 6 on the right and then all 6 on the left. So you're not alternating each time.
Yeah. This would be a good time to bust out those kettlebells too, because of the lower volume, but you get a chance to really focus on your technique, dial it in.
All right. Now we've made it to Saturday. We're going to round it out with a nice little 15-minute AMRAP for Saturday's workout. So we have a nice small chunk of 5 toes to bar, and then we're increasing each time on our dumbbell or on our man maker or lady maker, whatever you'd like to call them. So we're going to go 5 toes to bar, 1 man maker, 5 toes to bar, 2 man maker, and you're just going to keep climbing on the man makers. So this one actually, DH and I were talking about, it says it in the coach's notes. This reminds me a lot of vault number 7, which we did back on February 17th. Miranda and I did that one together. It's kind of similar-ish. That one had clusters, but kind of gives you the same kind of vibe. Similar time domain. I think that one was 12 minutes. This one, you're going to go 3 minutes longer. But so for this one, we're looking at the toes to bar should be something, it's 5. So should be a manageable number for you. I would say if you want to challenge yourself, you're really working on your toes to bar, stick with the 5. Maybe if you're not getting all your toes all the way up to the bar, maybe you're working that range of motion. Maybe you go 3 and 2 or whatever's comfortable for you. But I'd say you could challenge yourself on those toes to bar. Now, the man makers are really long movement. And you'll notice with this one, we don't have a heavier weight for the extra challenge. This one would be increasing the toes to bar. Obviously, go with whatever weight you feel comfortable with. But we're kind of ending out on a long week. So I'd say the weight should be something that you could just move through. Like for this one, I'd probably stick with the 25-pound dumbbells and kind of comfortably move through this one. Yeah. This one is actually one we don't recommend doing with kettlebells for the man maker. If those of you guys like to get really creative, but we do have a note there that says in the coach's notes, we don't recommend doing it. Feel free. I know Julian, I think, has done some man makers creatively. I don't know if you were there for that, DH, with kettlebells. So there is a way, but we recommend just sticking with dumbbells for this one.
Yeah. And I was asking why. And it makes sense. It's if you're trying to do the plank row with your hands on the kettlebell, because it's like a bell and it's circular, once you're in those later rounds, like you're doing like a lot of man makers, there might be a tendency to move your wrists this way laterally. And there's just a lot of risk there. So it's like, it's not worth it. Again, like Molly said, if you want to get creative with it, maybe you do like a gorilla row instead or something like. Sure. Yes, but I mean, dumbbells are totally fine. And just like go, like go fast, go. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can obviously do program C. We have the sandbag option for this movement if you guys want to do that. But Saturdays, obviously, we have our team version, which I think is a really fun one. If you have somebody that you can team up with, maybe in person or virtually, this one's going to be a fun one where you are going to be, so it's 10 shared toes to bar, but the kicker here is each partner has to do 5. So you can't share the work there. DH would have to do 5 and then I would have to do 5. But then you're sharing the man makers, which is a fun one. So we're going 20 minutes on this. I would probably, like if I was doing this, I don't know about you, DH, but I would probably almost do the man makers as like an I go, you go, or maybe no more than like 2 in a row to kind of keep it quick back and forth. Because it is such a long movement and you can slow down quite a bit. I kind of almost see this one as like, I do a man maker, then DH would, that would be our 2. And we'd move back to the toes to bar. And then maybe in the 4s, we're doing like 2 and 2, but I'd keep the reps pretty low and kind of try to work back and forth relatively quickly. I don't know about you, DH.
Same. I think that's the way to go because for me, at least, I have a tendency to just be like staring at the dumbbells when I'm
totally.
Doing a bunch of reps of the man maker. So I think that's really smart. You do 5 toes bar, partner does 5, and then start. Just do 1, 1, 1, 1, back and forth.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
And obviously you could have this where like if DH is doing toes to bar and I want to do weighted sit-ups or V-ups, that's always an option too that you can throw in, mix and match with your partner. Yep. But yeah, that's, I think, all I had down for today's workout. What about you?
Beautiful. Yeah, no, that looks good. That looks good.
What did Madeline say? She says, I have a bad habit of doing the vault Sundays and then watching y'all on Monday. Oh, nice, Madeline. We hope it went well for you. It's nice to kind of get it out of the way on Sunday before you dive into your week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you going to do this one again, DH?
Yeah, I want to try with the dumbbells.
Oh, nice. I was thinking I wanted to try with the kettlebells.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this one with the dumbbells. It looked fun. You crushed it. So I'm going to be like, all right, let me give it the Molly approach.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. And we hope you guys enjoy the vault and this week of programming.
All right, guys. See ya.